So yeah, so with that in mind, let's actually go through and add in some of these things to our media queries. So over here, let's actually start by doing our smallest screen. So the mobile/phone size. When it gets to be 700 pixels, and let me actually open this up so we can see, one nice thing about sort of developer tools is that when you put it up like this, once I get this page sort of sized in a way that's not uncomfortable. Oh man.
It's so nice just usually having dual monitors here.
Yeah.
So you just toss that off to the side.
Never mind, I'm going to pin this back. But yeah, you can, you can actually see, oh, it's not happening on this computer for some reason. But you can usually see, there's a way to get this to happen. I can't do it quite right now. To actually see the width of the page, to see the width of the page right now. Do you know how to get that showing? I thought that was automatic.
The width of the...
Yeah, usually it shows up. Or let me try this. Yeah, it's not showing up right now. On my other computer, it showed up sort of as a, hey, this is 700 pixels right now type thing. But that's okay. Roughly when we know that, a page is this small, we don't want an image there. We don't need an image there. That's not necessary, right?
Right.
So we can just completely hide that image, and we'll just use a selector for it. It is this CSS image ID tag that we used up here. So I'll just do CSS image, and I'll do a simple display none to hide it. And you know what? We actually probably also don't need this side text. We can just, have our title, and that be it. So we can also just hide our side text in the same way.
One thing that's worth highlighting as Helen is putting in the CSS is you're going to notice that all that she's doing is taking advantage of that inheritance. Because when she goes in and she sets up that media, that's now going to more explicitly define those elements. And so that's now what's going to take precedence. So rather than going in and having to redo everything, she's just going in and targeting the couple of properties that are necessary for that device size, modifying those, making those what it needs to be, and that's it. So you're not going back and redoing a brand new CSS file from scratch.
Exactly. And that's also the nice thing about including it in here, is you can see those differences. Exactly. So okay, so I have those two things. But one thing that actually also bothered me is that when the screen gets to be this size, these don't sit very nicely. And to be honest, I mean, the link to the MBA course is much more important than either of our Twitter handles.
Hey.
I'm sorry. I know.
I have like 2 followers on Twitter, and one of them is my mother, and I don't really think that counts.
I'm the other one, right?
Yes, and Barry's the other one.
I'll follow you on Twitter if you let me just hide both of us.
All right,
Okay.
Fair deal.
Yeah, so as you can see, a lot of what I'm doing right now is basically just hiding stuff. Because once you're on a smaller screen, you need to really know what is important on the page, what you need to show, and what you can sort of get away with hiding. So we're going to hide our names, and we don't really have, actually, if you look at the code for this, we don't really have specific classes for our Twitter handles versus this. It's kind of the same thing, or it's the same type of attribute. But what we can do is we can use the pseudo classes, as we talked about before, to just hide the two of our handles. So what I'm going to do is sort of the same selector as I did before, header, and then list item descendants of that. And then I'm going to do the not, which I think was briefly brought up. These are just basically, if it's not whatever is in here, then it'll be true, right?
Okay.
It just negates it. So I'm going to hide everything that's not the first child.
Okay.
Because if you look on the page, the first thing on the list is the link to the site, and then everything else is just our handle. So I'm going to do not the first child, and then I'll say display none for that as well. Don't worry, I'll do other things besides display none. I know, right now it's kind of just the same thing over and over. But yeah, I'm just going to hide everything that's not the first item of that list.
Yeah, but you know, that display none is very important, especially when you get into that print. So doing things like just hiding all of those images, hiding the navigation, all of that's very important.
Yeah, exactly. And one last thing I'm going to do is this text is huge. I don't think I should hide it up there, but this is basically 3 times the normal size. It's 3 EM originally, and I'm going to make it something manageable, like 1 EM, like the size of general text on the page, especially since, you know, it's a smaller screen. And how did I define that? I think I did. I'm going to check to make sure. Banner text is just an ID. Perfect. So I'm going to do banner text, and I'm going to set that. I'm going to set the font size to just be 1 EM. And then now when I save this and I refresh this little guy. Oh, did I save it? Maybe I'm not on the right page. That's embarrassing. Demo.html. This is style.css.
Just do a real quick Control F5. Sorry, inside of Visual Studio. Because what that should do is then reopen up the browser for you.
All right. Well, let's. I'm going to think about what could be going wrong right now. Media screen max width 700 pixels. That should be fine. Yeah, display none is a pretty straightforward property. If it's showing up, it should show up.
Go back to the browser again. And yeah, just and do a Control F5 on it just to make sure. Because I'm wondering if maybe something is cached, and then shrink that down.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to check something. I'm going to check what it's supposed to be to see if I did anything wrong. I did. That's embarrassing. I think I forgot this and here. And maybe that'll fix it. Yeah. Okay,
there you
that's
go.
it.
Okay.
I forgot the and.
That's the demo blow up graphic.
It's not the worst thing. That's why you have the backup knowledge.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so now that you're on a smaller screen, you know, the text is much smaller. But that's a pretty drastic jump that we did to go from this page to this with basically no transition in between. So what I'm going to do is actually flash out this part, and then I'm going to do this and right here. That way that doesn't blow up. And I'm going to add the properties here that we talked about. I'm going to just be lazy, copy a lot of these things over, because these are the elements that I still want to change. Maybe not these. I think our names will stay up there for something of this size. We're that important, right? So it's all about, you know, progressively removing elements, and we're not there yet. We don't need to remove ourselves yet. Okay. Yeah, yet. So for the CSS image, instead of just doing display none, I'm actually just going to shrink it down a little bit. I'm going to change its width and height. And so before it was, I think, 300. Now I'm going to do maybe 150, something half the size of its original. And for the side text, let's see what I had before. For side text, I had font size 1.5 EM before, and maybe now I'll just do 1 EM. And then for banner text, instead, I don't want it the same size as my font, so I'm going to actually up that back up to 2 EM, so it's twice as big, and that still looks like a header text. I'm going to save this. And then when I go over here and I refresh, I'm going to drag this out too. Okay, so this is between the 700 pixels and the 960. It'll look like this. As you can see, this logo is quite a bit smaller than this original, and so are both of the texts. They're both significantly smaller. So now when you're going from a page of this size to a page of this size, you get something that's smaller, and then when you go even smaller, smaller, and smaller, you have that sort of progressive degradation of the page.
That looks really slick. I like it.
Yeah. There are sort of two schools of thought about, doing these things, and the one that I just did is, start with a fully fleshed page, decide what to take out as you go smaller and smaller. But of course, a lot of people also just choose to do the opposite. They look, before they build a page, or as they're building the page, they say, hey, what are some of the most important elements on that page? And they sort of build for that, like that small mobile screen first.
Yep.
And then they sort of say, well, what else can I add? What other information can I add until they get to a larger and larger screen?
Right.
And that's also great as well. I think one good example of this that I saw was a weather app. When you're on the smallest screen, you want to basically just show, hey, what is the temperature outside? What is the weather like? And then as the screen gets bigger, you can say, this is the humidity outside, this is the chance precipitation.
There you go.
And things like that. And then as you go full on page, and you add like a background image. And I think that's also a really great way of thinking about designing your site as well. It depends on the type of site that you're building. If you're building something that's pretty full content, you maybe want to start big, go small. If you're building something that's more like a small lightweight web app, you can start small, go big.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts you have on media queries?
No, the only couple of things have really just been around images in the chat window. And again, images is just one of those really tricky things. The one little tool that I'm going to highlight here, and actually let me bring up. I want. I think it's all one word. Processing. It's my little dance. There we go. Okay. Perfect. So Scott, and I'm going to mispronounce his last name. Jail?
That sounds okay to me.
Okay.
I'm not Scott, though.
Scott J has this great little tool called Picture Fill. And what this will do is it will, regardless of your browser, bring to life the picture element. And what's great about the picture element is it will allow you to identify different picture files based on those exact same media queries that Helen just showed off there. And what's important about that is because somebody asked about resizing the image, and in the case of your CSS logo, resizing that makes sense. But resizing a lot of other pictures, just simply shrinking it down, isn't really what we want. That a lot of times what we want to do is focus in on different areas. So just kind of get rid of some more of the surrounding area. So we need different files. That's where that picture element comes into play. This is eventually supposed to become part of HTML, but as anybody who's experienced with HTML can tell you, just because it's supposed to be coming doesn't mean that it's coming anytime soon or will actually happen. So this will, through JavaScript, automatically implement that for you, and it's a really slick little utility. So definitely recommend checking that out. So, and then beyond that, I think that's about it as far as the Q&A goes.
Okay, great.
So, yeah. So what do you say we take 10 minutes, and then we'll come on back, and we'll actually do two things. I'm actually going to do a real quick aside and show off columns, just because we haven't done columns yet. And I'm sort of feeling a little bad because all of your stuff has been looking really, really good, and my little demo kind of looked a little bit cheesy. So I want to go in and kind of finish that out, throw in some columns, which is typically how you'd want something that's that much text to display. And then I'll also show off how to implement transitions and resize things as well through CSS. But let's take 10, and then we'll come on back and we'll do all that. So we'll see you guys back here in 10.